With the trade deadline looming on March 25th, disgruntled stars and teams who are in need of a fresh start are seeking to get better deals through the trade deadline, especially the contenders who are still looking for ways to get better. The Warriors are in a dilemma though, because they already made a trade to acquire Kelly Oubre Jr, which has taken up a lot of their cap space, but they're still hovering around the 8th to 9th spot of the Western Conference. It feels like they need one more piece to actually contend in the West, since Klay Thompson is still out for the season. In this video, we're going to figure out if the Warriors should trade for a star to pair with Steph Curry. I'm going to discuss some stars that they can actually acquire and figure out if those trades make sense for the Warriors in the future. But before that, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and smash that notification bell to get updates on my latest NBA content. Make sure to watch till the end, where I talk about two players in one team that can be a trade option for the Warriors. Let's get started. With Klay Thompson sidelined for the remainder of the season, the Warriors were hoping they could contend in the Western Conference this season. As of this video, the Warriors are almost 30% into the season and are hovering around the 8th or 9th spot. If the playoffs were to start now, they would likely face the Lakers, Clippers, or Utah Jazz, all of whom are contenders. But that's if the season ends today. What if they were to face the other rising contending teams like the Denver Nuggets? The Warriors, as constructed right now, would have to pull off an upset to win those series. With that said, they could make changes to make a run in the playoffs. Let's get to the list. Number 1. Zach LaVine. LaVine is playing like an all-star this year, averaging career highs of 26.9 points, 5.3 rebounds, 5.3 assists, while shooting 51% from the field and 41% from three. This would be a huge addition for the Warriors because it gives them another ball handler, a shooter, not quite the same as Klay Thompson, but has athleticism and can make plays for others. This trade makes sense for the Warriors because it addresses their need for a backup playmaker, a star to pair with Steph Curry, and more offensive firepower. On the other hand, this trade hurts the Warriors defensively because while LaVine is a decent defender, he's nowhere near the capabilities of Klay. Plus, the Bulls will ask for an exchange of expiring contracts, young players like Wiseman, and other stars. I think LaVine, Klay, and Curry make a formidable big three, but in the West, you need big players to battle with big men like AD, Jokic, and Gobert. Number 2. Bradley Beal. Although the Wizards said they don't want to trade him, and Beal hasn't said it publicly as well, he needs a fresh start, averaging MVP numbers of 35 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 47% field goal shooting, and 34% from the three with a team that's bottom 3 in the NBA. It's only a matter of time before Beal decides to ask for a trade. With Beal, Curry, and Green in one team, they could potentially dethrone the contenders and possibly come out of the West. His game is extremely versatile. He can run the offense, play pick and roll, come out of ball screens, and be a go-to guy come crunch time. The only downside of this trade is a potential deal would include Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre Jr., and James Wiseman, and future first-round picks. Do you really want to give up your whole future for a player that's going to potentially leave again after his contract expires? If you love this Bradley Beal deal, wait till you see the next one where two players in one team can be trade options for the Warriors. Number 3. Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. If the Warriors were to acquire Joel Embiid, who's having an MVP season this year and putting up superstar center-type numbers of 28.4 points, 11.1 assists while shooting 55% from the field and 40% from three, they will come out of the West. This trade addresses their need for a star. They can now compete with teams like the Lakers, Nuggets, Jazz, and the Clippers. He is an established big man who can throw the ball in the paint for instant points, and he protects the rim at an elite level. He attracts double teams, resulting in more wide-open threes for Steph Curry and the others. To acquire him, though, the Sixers will ask the Warriors for basically the whole franchise for Embiid. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit. Wiseman, Wiggins, Oubre, and first-round draft picks would most likely be involved in the trade. Without solid role players, the Warriors would be top-heavy, and their bench isn't good to begin with. If Simmons was on the table, they addressed the need for another ball handler, a terrific defender, and can run the offense with or without Steph Curry. But the Golden State Warriors rely heavily on three-point shooters. What can't Ben Simmons do? Shoot the ball. Like Embiid, the Sixers will ask for a lot of assets in exchange for him because he's still young. Many analysts think Ben can flourish in another team. Maybe going to the Golden State Warriors is that answer. Number 4, Blake Griffin. This trade is going to happen if Blake is healthy and if the Warriors really want an aging veteran. Averaging 12.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 4 assists this season, Blake's game has declined from what it was in the Lob City Clipper days. Just 2 seasons ago, Blake was posting all-star numbers of 24.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 5.4 assists, so this trade could be good for him because they're very thin on the front court. Wiseman is still young and raw. He needs time to refine his game, which the Warriors can't afford to wait if they really want to contend now. The only downside of this trade is Detroit for sure wants Draymond Green included in that deal. If the Warriors replace Draymond for Blake, yes, they could be a better shooting team, but Green provides so much leadership, playmaking, defense, intangibles, and toughness that Blake can't give. Number 5, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know he recently signed that max extension of $228 million to stay with the Bucks for 5 years, so why would the Bucks ever try to trade him? But hear me out on this one. With the team presently constructed now, the Bucks don't have a chance of winning the East, especially with the new Big Three in Brooklyn. They still lack that second star to pair up with Giannis. If he gets traded to the Warriors, a pairing of Steph and Giannis would be the difference maker the Warriors need to contend in the West. Giannis is an excellent defender. He can post up, put the ball on the floor, can initiate the offense, is a decent facilitator, and can shoot the ball well enough to be respected. If you put Steph and Giannis in the pick and roll, it would be a nightmare to defend. Teams can't make a wall now defending Giannis because you have to worry about Steph in the perimeter, thus opening more driving lanes for him. Could you imagine if Klay was healthy? The Warriors would rain threes on their opponents. He's locked in for 5 years, so you don't have to worry about him leaving in a year or two. The only question of this deal is yet again, are you willing to trade all your assets to acquire him? Of course, Wiseman has to be in that deal, Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Draymond Green, and future first-round picks. You can involve other NBA teams, but they have to agree first for this to happen. Personally, I don't think the Warriors need another star because I don't want them to give up a potential big man like Wiseman only for another team to benefit from him. They should just develop the kid, similar to what they did with Steph. Look at him now. The organization should play this roster for the whole season and see what they can do in the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, that's the time they can think about trading for a star. Do you think the Warriors need another star to pair up with Steph Curry? Do these trades and changes make sense for them to make the playoffs? Tell us what you think in the comments down below, and once again, make sure to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.